Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. I have a couple of items for housekeeping before we get started. We are going to start today's press conference with some brief remarks, followed by a video, and finally moderated Q&A. If you'd like to participate and submit a question, please submit it in the chat box to a private message to the panelist and host. We'll be going through those and will be answered by the guest speakers today as well. All press materials will be submitted after the announcement, and we will end promptly at 10 a.m. Please welcome the President and CEO of St. Louis City SC, Carolyn Kindle-Betts.
Good morning and Happy New Year. My name is Carolyn Kindle-Betts, and I am the President and CEO of St. Louis City SC. We are so excited you could join us for this major announcement. It's hard to put into words how fantastic a year 2021 was for us. Now that we're just over a year away from our inaugural 2023 season, we set our sights on building out a professional soccer team for a city that's incredibly passionate about soccer. Our ownership group is committed to being an exceptional club and neighbor on and off the pitch. To accomplish this goal, we needed a sporting director that not only believed in our approach, but also had the vision and passion to see it through. Over the past year, our sporting director, Lutz Pfannenstiel, has been hard at work adding global talent and expertise to our staff, building out our club's sporting philosophy, and defining our high-pressing playing style. He proves time and time again that he truly is the perfect fit to help ensure this team further energizes the spirit of St. Louis. So we knew when it came to scouting, recruiting, and hiring our first ever Major League Soccer head coach, Lutz would find someone who understood what we are trying to build here in St. Louis and wanted to help take it to the next level, and we're confident he did just that. To provide some more details on the process and introduce our head coach, I'll now pass it over to our sporting director, Lutz Pfannenstiel.
Yeah, thank you, Carolyn. I think we're here today and we are extremely excited for yet another milestone in our club's very young history. We are here to actually announce our first ever St. Louis City SC head coach. We always knew how important that decision is to make, especially having our head coach as early as January 2022 in place, because there's a lot of recruitment, a lot of scouting, and a lot of things to do to really be ready for 2023. Following an extensive search internationally with over 100 candidates, I think we really focused on two major points. We wanted a coach who knows the MLS like his backyard, with a lot of MLS experience, but he also needs to understand and be fully involved in our very unique St. Louis City SC playing style. As a player, the guy who will soon come in after me stood exactly for our philosophy, for the way he played, for the hard work on the field. And as a coach recently at New York Red Bulls, I think he really proved that he's ready for the next step. So I'm really proud and happy to welcome Bradley Carnell.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Lutz. And I can assure you the shoes were mine. A special thank you to Carolyn and the whole entire ownership group. The trust and the confidence instilled in me from day one through this process has always been an amazing experience, and something I'll carry very closely to me for the remainder of my tenure. I'm super proud and excited to be announced today as the head coach of St. Louis City SC. It's a very proud moment for me personally and my family, and we're really excited to spend our future here in St. Louis. I think this is also the perfect and a worthy platform to thank the New York Red Bulls for my time there. It's been a wonderful journey over the last nearly 5 years of so many highs and some lows, of course, but always giving my all every day in and day out, and leading me and guiding me and mentoring me to basically why I am standing here behind this platform today. I think there are several factors when one thinks about taking the next step in their journey, in their coaching pathway or their careers, and making me decide on this decision at this time. One of those instances were my interim role, of course, during the 2020 season as an interim head coach, guiding the team to the playoff run. And setting the standard and achieving the standards back in those days, what were the bare minimums of achievements and the expectations at the Red Bulls. Obviously, this was not a one-man show back in 2020. I had a super staff and support structures around me to ensure this process, and obviously the players to receive the messages and to get them playing in a certain way to achieve those bare minimum standards of making the playoffs spoke volumes for me of where I want to go as a person, as a coach. And I'm truly grateful for the players that I worked with in the last close to 5 years. I think when I speak to Lutz and the ownership group, we're talking about a common language, a common synergy in who we are and what we want to become as a playing soccer club within the MLS. And the language talking about Lutz, you don't look too far in terms of his history and his background of the addresses that he's been at. And if you look at my sort of resume, where I've been as a player, whether as a coach, there's always been this proactive, front-footed style of approach, and it's been a way of playing. It's been a way of life for me since ever, I can remember playing professionally. So I feel I'm really equipped through these experiences to lead this team forward from day one, and I'm super excited to get started. Another factor for me choosing this pathway today was a personal loss I endured exactly 6 months ago to this day, and led me to a question, if not now, when? And like I said, the instances announced previously helped me, guide me, helped me, nurture me into this decision process. And I'm a family first man, and we're super excited to be relocating soon. As you can see, the academy is up and running here in St. Louis, and these were one of the milestones as well. And you can just see by the results alone that those teams are hard to play against. And we have the next team on our doorstep here with the LDL, the MLS Next Pro team. Setting up this blank canvas to build a team from the ground up is a massive opportunity 1 year in advance. And this is the reason why I was so desperate to come across so early, and really grateful for the opportunity that the ownership group awarded me to join the team so early. We can use this year to build up the platform, scout the right players, which are crucial elements and key pillar milestones to build a successful product and really an energized style of play come 2023. At this moment, I'll open to the Q&A in a few minutes, and we'll join you shortly. Thank you so much. One word, courage. We play forward, doesn't work, we counter press, we go again. The will to want to win is a big change, guys. Because you deserve it, man. You deserve it, everything. Bradley Carnell, head coach, St. Louis City.
All right, we're ready for the Q&A. Bradley, what experiences or lessons have you learned at New York Red Bulls or MLS in general that will serve City well?
I think it's just about being a good person, a good teammate first and foremost. And obviously, with the playing style that we intend to put out here on the field of play in 2023, I think the fundamentals and the selflessness of that organization to grow people, to lead people, to develop young men and help them nurture their way through their careers spoke volumes to me taking on this project here. And obviously the experiences within the MLS over the last few years, it's been an amazing opportunity for me to learn the league, and grow in the league, coach in the league in different ways as an assistant coach, and in 2020 as an interim head coach. So I feel I'm more than ready and equipped to take on this challenge, and really excited for the process.
Lutz, how involved will Bradley be in 2022 with the Academy and MLS Next Pro teams?
I think there's a plan behind it that we hired our head coach already as January 2022. So we have that one extra year to really focus a lot on the first team. But we always said the Academy, the MLS Next Pro team and the Pro team, they're going hand in hand. Even our community setup is all going hand in hand. So I really want Bradley to be involved in everything, to really get to learn the culture here, get to know all the people. And of course, we always said we want to have our own homegrown youngsters, if possible already in the MLS setup in 2023. So it's a good chance for everybody to show himself. I think it's a blessing for us to have the MLS Next Pro team starting already in March, and that is definitely a very, very big opportunity for everybody to actually show themselves, to really prove themselves that they have a good shot and a good opportunity for the MLS team in 2023. And you know, Bradley really bought in on the idea to go for our youngsters, to give youngsters an opportunity. And then, of course, the recruitment, the scouting, looking at what happened not just in the MLS but also in the international league. So I think it's a great year. It's a lot to do, and I'm really, really happy that together with Brad and John Hackworth, we can really build a strong unit and make the right decisions.
Bradley, what kind of players or roster makeup would you expect for City?
Yeah, I think really hungry, athletic, fast, dynamic players who are, again, first and foremost, humble in their approach and their application on a daily basis. These are key pillar stones of the ownership group, to be hardworking, honest, and extremely humble. And I think if you look at Lutz and how you know, my upbringing was, this speaks volumes for me, and this is something that will lead by example. For sure, on and off the field, and which will eventually outreach to the communities as well. So people are engaging every day, people are willing to grow every day, and to adopt a new approach maybe in the style of play, obviously. So yeah, we're really excited to filter through the numerous networks that we all possess with John, Lutz and myself in finding the right players. It's not always only the best players that are available, it's the most suitable players for our style of play.
Bradley and Lutz, is there a team in Europe that you would point to as having the style and process that you envisioned for us?
I don't think you're looking at just teams or individuals. I think it's also coaches and influencers, you know. So obviously you speak about Thomas Tuchel, Jürgen Klopp, Julian Nagelsmann, and teams like Liverpool, Hoffenheim as well, RB Leipzig. So these are all key teams on the globe. Obviously, Ralf Rangnick played an extremely vital role throughout my career, and having played under him as a player in 1999 to through 2001, and also being involved with him in a working relationship as a coach within the Red Bull Global Network. These are key pillar stones and ingredients, and we have the principles in place, ready to mix, I'm sure, Lutz's playing style and the way I perceive the game to be played on the field. And I think these are things that will form a unique product here in the MLS to be exciting the fans to cheer us on in 2023.
Yeah, I just want to add there, you know, I mean, it's always good to look overseas. It's good to get your own benchmarking in place. But I see it more as a point of orientation. What do other clubs do right? What do they also do wrong? And I think all of us involved in the club, we had our experiences in the past. So it's not a secret that I worked for many, many years in Hoffenheim, where that playing style, also what Bradley had, is very similar to the Red Bull. But in the end of the day, we don't want to copy anything. We want to be ourselves. We want to play our own style, find our own right players, and stand for our own handwriting. So it's good to look over, it's good to see, it's good to compare, but we are us. We are nobody else.
Bradley, how do you find St. Louis so far, and anything you look forward to?
Well, I mean, I haven't spent many days here now, but what I can tell you is any engagement that I've had with people, whether it be on the streets or behind the cafeteria at the hotel, there's a passion and excitement about soccer coming to St. Louis. And I've also become to learn what it means to the people of St. Louis to have a professional franchise within the soccer industry and the MLS here. This is the soccer hub of America, the soccer capital of America, and there's been many esteemed players to come through the ranks and filter through and go on to great careers. So to be part of a setup here speaks volumes, you know, for the ownership to take on this project. And yeah, I'm really excited and really extremely privileged and honored to be considered the head coach of St. Louis City SC.
Bradley, how did you and Lutz first meet?
So I think there's a couple of factors. Obviously, we were players at similar points in our careers. Lutz was a little bit more adventurous than I was to travel the globe. but he often, had times, whether it was in Africa or whether it was in Europe, crossing paths. We did know of each other, but we never really met each other until probably around about early 2015, where he called me up and asked me to be joining him on a charity exhibition in Namibia. So that was probably the first time I ever got to spend time with Lutz on a personal level. And then the next one was during a coaching course in the end of 2015, where I was fortunate enough to be invited by him to get on the German coaching course at the DFB in Hennef in 2015. He was one of the lead instructors, by the way.
Lutz and Bradley, what will be the unique challenge of coming into the league as an expansion team?
Yeah, I think obviously challenges are going to be in every situation, in every day, and I think these are challenges we should be ready to embrace. I just think, the league or the team has already started building a process of the academy. You think about the MLS Next Pro team, so there's also little challenges and speed bumps along the way there in terms of player recruitment, in terms of scouting, and finding the right player through our networks. So these are some of the challenges, I'm sure, and everybody keeps on telling me it's the hardest job in the MLS, and good luck, and I'm really excited about taking on that challenge, and whatever come my way, we feel very confident of settling the waters very quickly, that we can just focus on the game at hand come 2023.
Yeah, I think challenges are also big opportunities for us, I believe we're having now a unique opportunity with our MLS Next Pro team to already experience that year extra. I think for me personally, it was very important, what I mentioned earlier, to have people around me who worked in the league before at the highest level, who know the league extremely well. That is, I think, a very important part, that we don't believe bringing in top players from overseas will win us titles or make us a better team. We need to be successful in front of our own door. We need to be successful nationally. We need to convince top American players to join us here at St. Louis. And I think all that together, it must be a good unit of really knowing exactly what could be problems, what could be issues. But I think we're very well prepared. I believe we had last year in 2021 a very, very good run of excitement news and excitement things we did. So I think we're on a very good way when it comes to the youth football. And that, 2022, it's massive for us. We definitely can see lots of things as a test run for 2023. We can find our feet, we can experience certain things, which will definitely be very helpful once we kick the first ball in the MLS.
Bradley, if rumors are true, why choose St. Louis City over other massive opportunities in England? Yeah,
I think there's always obviously timing factors, family, personal factors as well that led me to choose St. Louis City. And as well, I'm a man of my word, and we had already committed to St. Louis, and this was the only opportunity for me and the first choice decision when it came around to make a decision. And we were thinking about my family and thinking about how we've adopted the American culture, the American lifestyle, and really proud and privileged to call America our home. And we intend staying on here for the near to mid-term future.
Bradley, now that you're in the position as head coach, how soon would you look to start signing players, and are there any discussions with players underway, either domestic or international?
Yeah, listen, I think we have a blank canvas to work with, and obviously Lutz and I are in common dialogues every day, and we speak about players alongside with John Hackworth, who could now complement the roster of the LDL team, of the MLS Next Pro team, as well as potential signings for next year. So yeah, we know that the European season ends in end of May this year. So could we potentially entice certain individuals to attract them here sooner rather than later? Or do we scout and scour the American markets as well as the South American markets, which are very attractive options as well? So yeah, there are many, many options. And I think with Lutz's network and my network on the global scale, we can obviously find many, many players. But I spoke earlier about the right player. It's not always the best player who just fits any certain style. It's got to be about the right player who embraces on and off the field what it takes to be a St. Louis City SC soccer player.
Bradley, New York Red Bulls use reserve team differently than most. Do you see a similar model being used here?
Yes, I think if you look at short-term, mid-term, long-term, we want to be competitive come day one in 2023. And while we develop youngsters through the academy to eventually call these youngsters our first homegrowns, that will be a special moment for us. And without speaking out of term, but sure for me, to incorporate people and players of the community, which really we want to instill and inspire confidence and really want to develop talent within this area, knowing it's such a hotbed of soccer talent. We want to nurture this in the right way and allow players to go on and fulfill their dreams of potentially maybe going over to Europe one day in some of the big leagues.
Lutz, what made you hire Bradley as St. Louis City's first head coach?
I think it's a pretty simple case. We had a lot of thought in that, and we had really hundreds of applicants for this job. And I always believed our head coach needs to tick the most important boxes. And that was really it was a mind game. It was a long-term look. We didn't make that decision very quick. And I think for us it was important that we get somebody on board who knows the league very well, who knows the teams, who knows the stadiums, who knows every single player in the league. It is really, really important. Secondly, I know Bradley as a player. I also really focused on that, how he worked as a coach, because as he mentioned before, he made his first coaching license where I was his instructor, and I saw something special in him. I saw that he reads the game extremely well, that he finds the right moment, the right approach to talk to players. So I somehow always stayed behind the scenes and watched him develop. And then it was a coincidence as well that we both ended up in the United States. So he stands, in my opinion, for our playing style. As a player and as a coach, we want to be positive, aggressive. We want to be hunt and chase. We want to press. We want to play an exciting game, and we want to play a very, very high-speed, high-intensity football. And I think that is something where, looking at every candidate we had, Bradley was the first on the list. He was the candidate number one, and I'm really happy, really proud, and really excited that you get your number one candidate. It's not always in professional sports like that, when you have to settle for the second or third best. We genuinely can say we found the man we wanted, and we got the man we wanted.
Lutz and Bradley, what advantages do you think the brand new stadium and the surrounding sporting facilities will have in St. Louis?
Yeah, I think it energizes, and knowing prior to the onset of the 2023 inaugural season that we will have a training facility, we will have a stadium to play out of. And I think this just enforces and energizes the whole community around it and builds up this whole entire atmosphere so that we can hit the ground running in 2023. So I think it's an amazing opportunity. And again, credit to the ownership group for going through all the trials and tribulations through the pandemic situation across the globe to still unveil this product and the stadium and allow us the platforms to perform at the highest level.
Yeah, I think we just have to repeat what Bradley said. I think we just have to be very thankful to the ownership group to give us that opportunity, not just to have a stadium, but have an absolutely world-class stadium. Not just that we have a facility, but we have probably or definitely the best training facility in the country right next to the stadium in the city of the basically right in the middle of the community. I mean, that's like a dream come true. It's unique, it's special, it's something we can really build something special out of. And I think also for the players to see that facilities is definitely something you want to be involved in. We can give young players and young professional opportunity to have the best possible facility, to have the best possible development, but they need to make the next step. We only can prepare certain things, but having the best infrastructure, having the best coaches, and I think that is definitely a big benefit in if you do talk to players from overseas, but also some top players from the MLS, that is the place where they want to be, because we really invested a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of thought in this infrastructure.
Lutz, why did you decide to hire Bradley as the club's first head coach rather than a bigger name that is more well-known?
Yeah, and I think this is actually a very good question, and I think it is a very important question. What do we stand for, who we are as a club? We are hungry, we are motivated, nobody really knows what to expect from us, but we do have a clear plan and a clear playing style. That aggressive approach in a positive way, that high intense pressing style, that is something what we want to be. We want to stand for a new generation football. And bringing a coach in who have been that and have done this and have trained at, coached at 2 or 3 World Cups, does it really help us to make the next step? I don't believe it. I believe we need to have a coach who represents us, being hungry, being motivated, being still on the way up to develop. And that is why Bradley was, for me, the absolute logic choice. He is very hungry. He wants to prove himself. He did a lot of great work in New York, and I think he really was ready for the next step, ready for the chance. And you know, I can see him right now with his feet actually like a bull, ready to go out and work. He's hardworking, he's honest, he's clear in his mind, and that's how we want to be seen in the community, how we want to be seen as a club in the MLS, and how we chose our first head coach. But that's also how we will choose our players. Our players don't necessarily have to be big names who played 150 games in the Champions League or the English Premier League. They need to be hungry, they need to fit in our philosophy, and they need to be burning to play for us.
Lutz, why did you decide to bring Bradley on so early ahead of the team's MLS debut in 2023?
As a new team, as a new club, you know, there is a lot of work, and it's very important to put that workload on different shoulders. I think looking at, as an example, LAFC with Bob Bradley, it was a great decision for them to bring him in a year earlier, because for me, it is important that the coach is involved in the process of finding the right players, in already seeing what's happening in that year build-up and not bringing him in 8 or 9 weeks before the season kicks off. He will be a stranger to the system. That year gives us a lot of time to really to mingle, to gel, to get together, to really get to know everything about the soccer in the city. And I think it's the perfect setup for us to bring him in. I always said from day one, we want to present our head coach in January 2022. This would be the ideal world. And we hit the nail on the head.
Bradley, can you tell us about your coaching style, how you like to work with other coaches and players?
Yeah, I like to engage the players. I like to promote the players in terms of leadership and ownership and accountability. And I think this is something from every head coach and every staff member, what we strive for and willing to achieve on a daily basis. And I like a front-footed approach, a very proactive approach, and even instilling, like I said, about the ownership of the players on and off the field. And senior players, experienced players, or more experienced players who might be coming in to help us, especially early on, to get our game model on the ground. They're going to be the extended arm of my coaching staff. So that's one of the key main factors that we'll be working on to instill this. And whether it's be in the video room and players talking to each other and engaging in that ownership and speaking openly together and knowing that there's trust and a safe working environment to feel vulnerable, because yeah, we all have to go out of our comfort zones to reach the next level, to grow as people, to grow as players, and this is something I approach on a daily basis. I feel I'm very adaptable, I'm very approachable, and very relatable to the players based on the history I've had, whether it was a player and now most recently as a coach.
Last question for Bradley. St. Louis City SC has always identified itself as a community-led sports team. Does this fit with your idea of a soccer club? Yeah, 100%. And you can see the intent of the ownership group already starting up the academies. And this is something that I will enforce to the players to make sure we get our hands dirty and get stuck into daily objectives as well as going into the communities and driving our brand of playing style and also engaging in the communities, whether it be any drive possible where we can support the infrastructure and help the community to develop and grow and to get out the name of St. Louis City SC as well. This has to be a win-win relationship for every party involved, and I'm so excited to be within a brand and an ownership group who really speak to the style of who I'm built as a person, and what flows through my DNA and my veins is to really be an approachable, humble, and honest, hardworking guy. And I can't wait to get out and meet the fans and meet the community.